The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us here on the Real Estate House Party. And look who's come back. This is so nice of you, Rick Nazzaro.
We had so much to say.
Was the ride okay this time around?
Listen.
Or?
Not easy crossing the border.
I know.
You know,
Did you use your GPS? How'd you get here?
I had GPS, a compass, and the police escort.
Okay.
That's
We
good.
do kid because
So-
Rick from Colonial Manor Realty does not like doesn't like to close outside of Reading.
That's right.
No.
And now he's down more selective. Certain streets he'll do, and then
Let's stay tight in the neighborhood.
Yeah. I asked him to
So-
go to
It's
an
nice
event.
that you can do that.
He
I
said,
know.
are you sending a driver for me? Okay.
I know. No,
Diva.
I mean, Uber. I mean, have you ever heard of an Uber
I have. Have you?
on your phone?
Yeah.
Rick Carter would cough up next time. Anyway,
Absolutely.
I'm
Absolutely.
here. Happy
No,
to
it's
be here.
coming back.
What
No.
time is the driver coming for me?
I'm very happy to be here.
So we have to explain why you're back because last show we didn't quite get to all our material that we're shooting for.
Really, us?
I know.
That seems weird.
I know.
I
We
know.
kind of
We
So we're
usually
doing
on
all-
task all
kind
the
of zigged
time.
and zagged and zigged
So
and
we're
zigged
doing all
and
business
zigged.
today?
Yeah.
So no, not all business, but let's.
Kathy.
I'm a little tired today.
He's already.
Go ahead.
This is a high energy show. I can tell.
I'm with you.
Old Man Winter.
If I think of anything, I'll pop my head up.
You know, we didn't say last time
What's
in your
that?
show. You were at. Did you know Tony was the first comedian ever to be at Fenway Park this year?
I knew he was there.
Yeah.
I was almost coming with you.
But
I
we didn't
know.
send the driver.
We didn't send the drive, and that
Tony,
was in Boston.
If you could send me a recording,
Of that,
I'll watch
yeah,
it.
sure, I'll get it.
But congratulations, I heard it was
Thank you.
fantastic.
went
It was
pretty well.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that
good
was
for
only
you.
his second most prestigious
Yeah,
award of this year.
I usually
Oh.
I only work stadiums now,
Right.
so I got a lot of holes in my.
I know, but now you're going to the
Get it.
Palace Theater, though,
Yeah,
in
yeah, we got the
Manchester.
buzz ball coming up on
Yeah,
the 15th.
so
yeah.
so that you're just stooping a little bit
Yeah.
for that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I leave the smaller venues to the others.
Yeah, good.
Good for you, Tony. That's right.
I like to spread it around.
And you
Share
haven't.
it.
We
Yeah.
didn't mention last time about your giggles.
Pie night.
Pie night.
Yeah, we have pie night every year, the night before Thanksgiving. It's a tradition.
And you know who won?
And
do.
I won Pie of the Year.
And what kind of pie was it?
I made an apple pecan crumble. It was really good. It went. The whole thing went. And
It was gone by
have
that
the
time.
thing
I
I
know.
never
Is there
told
actually
me-
like a contest? Like,
Yeah,
Oh.
everybody brings a pie, and we judge the best pie.
Did anybody help you, Tony?
No,
You did that all by
all
yourself?
by myself.
Tony's
Wow.
a very good.
Yep.
He's a
Yep.
good little cook here.
Yeah, and
And
the
this is
thing
how
I
they
didn't tell people, it was sugar-free and gluten-free.
No,
How
I
could
never
it-
told anybody.
How?
I never told
it
anybody.
was
But
sugar
how?
free.
Yeah, I used monk fruit sweetener.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, and it's like 4 times sweeter than sugar, no calories, and zero glycemic
Index type of
index.
thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
What about the crust?
The crust was just pecans, and I used almond flour.
Okay.
And instead of butter, I used coconut.
Wow.
So this is a low carb situation.
Yeah, it's a low carb situation.
Yeah.
But nobody knew. The pie tasted every bit as pie as anything else.
How many calories do you think were in a slice?
Not that many. No, I mean,
Like
I
100,
don't know.
200?
Maybe less than that. certainly.
Really?
Maybe in the 100 category.
You might be onto something,
Yep.
honey.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like,
Maybe we should stop marketing that.
Well,
Exactly.
sugar is the devil. I've been trying to keep away from sugar, like crackers.
trying for 50 years.
Bagels.
Well,
certain things like
There's sugar in everything that you don't know.
right.
And
Ketchup.
They sneak
Yeah.
it in on
Right.
you.
that
on
bagel
everything.
world kill me. Like
I know.
I have not
I
gone
know.
in like a month or so because let me get a bagel. The devil, the bagel. I'm telling you, that's.
I haven't
what
gone
they
there
tell
because some girl cut
me.
me
Am I
off.
right, Tony? You know,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
no,
thought
I'm
it
off
was
of carbs.
okay.
pretty much
You
anyway.
lost about
No, I know.
a ton of weight.
Yeah.
I love bagels, though.
I know.
They-
So what
they-
do you
they
use
sell the food.
instead? Like to make a sandwich without bread, I found to be.
Is it really a sandwich?
What do you?
No.
It's not really. I mean, you have to give up some things, but
Yeah.
I use a lettuce wrap.
Yeah.
Or there's an outfit called Birch and Bender, and they make a carb-free waffle essentially, but there's no sweetener in it, and it's all there's no grains in it, and I use that as a bake. Like I had a bacon. Turkey bacon and egg sandwich this morning for breakfast.
On the
On the
waffle.
waffle. And it
Nice.
was,
Well,
you
you're
know,
at the point now you're not even craving sugar.
No, I don't care
It's
about
out of
it.
your
But you know,
system.
white sugar, refined sugar has been a bugaboo in the world for years.
Yeah.
Well, the white flour.
And white flour because
Right.
they take all the nutrients out of it and they bleach it.
Right,
and-
they bleach it.
You know, we've talked about this before.
Right.
We were sold a bill of goods when we were young about cereal and this and that.
Cereal is the worst.
Yeah.
You know, and because we saw it and it had
Juices,
cartoons and
apple
juices,
juice,
yeah,
all that
of
stuff.
that. It's just nothing but sugar. And so once
Why,
you
Fruit
unlearn
Loops
that,
isn't good for you?
No.
you would be-
chocolate, whatever is it?
How about Lucky
Chocolate.
Charms?
Lucky Charms.
well,
Count,
even
Count
take,
Dracula.
You know, you take yogurt for example.
Oh, that's a scam,
yogurt,
too.
In and of itself, if you're making your own yogurt at home with your own culture and not putting all crap in it, it's great for you. But any yogurt you buy off a shelf in a grocery store is just loaded with sugar and color and chemicals.
Even plain yogurt?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, there's tons of sugar in it. I mean, you just got to read. Salad dressing has sugar in
Right.
it. Everything. You know, so you know.
So,
you just,
so we should stay away from salads. That's what you're saying.
no.
Oh, I thought that's what you were
No.
saying. Forget it, Tony.
No.
Tony,
Forget
well,
I even asked.
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So, instead, it's a higher fat content, meats, this and that, right?
Yes.
So, are people concerned then about other things like cardiovascular, if
Like
you eat-
cholesterol and,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. No, it mitigates itself. If you're not clogging up your arteries with everything else, the stuff moves through you. And I don't want to go into detail about that, but it really does go through you. And I've never felt healthier in my life.
Honestly,
So-
you look amazing,
Yeah. So
and I like that you're so
cardiovascular-
educated in how you're getting your nutrients and
Yeah, you
things
just
that
have to make sure.
And it's a lot of work,
Yeah,
right?
at first it
Yeah,
is,
it can
but then
be.
it
Yeah.
becomes your
Because
lifestyle.
I am truthfully trying to learn, like grapes, you can't eat grapes. It's a high,
Well, then-
fructose.
High glycemic index.
It does.
all
but
the good fruits and vegetables you like.
But berries,
Yeah.
like they say,
berries are good. Yeah,
good.
sure. And grapes, I mean,
Carrots aren't good for you.
if that's
That's
your
good.
one thing, your sweet is grapes, then you're doing fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you're eating grapes on top of everything else,
Right.
Grapes on top of a Mr. Goodbar.
yeah. It's
it
not,
doesn't work.
It's generally not that's doing it. Yeah.
to your
Ketchup,
point-
mustard, all sugar.
It's more what you're eating as opposed to cardiovascular these
Yeah,
days, right?
yeah.
Right. You
It's
used to always
what you
think I
put
have to
in
go
you.
to the gym for 4 hours and I'll be in great shape, but it's really what you're eating.
That's not necessarily the case, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Right,
That's what I'm
right.
Because you
And
don't work out a
usually-
ton, do
no,
you?
No, I walk more
Walk,
than I used
right,
to.
right.
But that's about it. But it's like everything else. People who go to the gym automatically think, well, I've gone to the gym for 2.5
So now I can
hours.
eat.
Now I can eat whatever I want, and it's a wash.
Right. And the other thing about when you go to the gym for 2.5 hours is you're burning calories, so you do feel like you should reward
so.
yourself.
Supplement.
But I also think that it makes you hungrier. Like
Yeah.
it makes you,
Yeah,
eat more than
Right.
your fist full of meat.
Yeah,
And
the thing I always keyed on was Gatorade.
Oh.
Everyone thinks that's good for you.
Horrible.
Right? But when they first came out with Gatorade, they made you believe it was this
Right.
magic potion, and it was
Right.
that
For
neon green
athletes-
color.
athletes
because
and-
that's
yeah.
right. That were working out for 4 hours a day, and then
Right.
all of a sudden they started coming up with grape.
Oh, yeah. No, that's full-
Gatorade and
that's full of
raspberry,
sugar.
and it's just all coconut water is nature's Gatorade. It
And-
gives
and
you
it's really
everything you
good,
need.
yeah.
It's
So
really-
none of that was in that pie.
none of that was in the pie.
Did you tell Mike Clark?
No, I didn't tell anyone until this very second.
so I'm going to challenge you.
yeah,
To can you make that again?
yeah.
Can you bring it in for me and Rick next
Yeah,
week?
Yeah, I will. Certainly will.
I would be.
Yeah, you too, Chrissy.
Just bring it for her and Rick, though.
No, you
no.
can. Yeah.
Ooh, Chrissy's edgy. I'll share with you, Chrissy.
Thank you.
Yeah, but the way they gauge it is the pies that go the quickest.
The quickest, and mine was decimated. I mean, it was gone. Because my wife goes, the fix is in because it's your night. And I go, no, my pie was the one that went.
But no one's name is on the pie.
No.
So no one
know
knows.
who brought what.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, we know it's on the bottom so we can identify
so nobody
it.
else
but
does,
nobody
though.
knows.
Right.
It's a blind.
Have you ever been to pie
blind
night?
tasting.
No, that's
should
why I
come.
asked about it.
It's almost like the Stanley Cup.
So
it's
when
that
you
coveted.
say everybody brings a pie, all you guys,
The comedians?
like the comedians,
Yeah.
it's not like people off the Nani makes a pie.
We have some people who are,
non-comedians.
like our friends who get involved. There's this guy Matt McShee's a retired firefighter
Yep.
and a great cook. He wins chili contests and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he's won the pie plate 2 years in a row. And luckily for me, his vision didn't come full circle this year, and he was a little off his game, which is what I think I want.
Mr. Shaw.
Yeah, Chuck Shaw always comes to play. Lou
Ed
Topper
Sullivan, isn't Ed Sullivan part of it now?
He's an honorary member. Lou and Topper of Intopper Painting, Medford, Massachusetts, made a smoked apple pie, which was delicious, but his texture was a little off. It was a little applesaucey. There was no bite to it.
Yeah.
Because he had to smoke it for so long.
Right.
But it was delicious.
Well, some people were using spoons to eat it at the end because there was a lot of not his.
No,
but
Chuck Shaw brought
Yeah,
this
Chuck
whipped
Shaw.
cream thing that looked beautiful, but 10
Until-
minutes in, it looked like chowder.
Yeah.
It was like, I go, Chuck, you can't win with a pie if you got to eat it with a spoon.
Right.
You don't
Right.
eat pies.
Right.
Yeah.
And where are the oyster crackers?
Yeah,
Chuck?
you need to throw them right in.
they
Yeah.
take this very seriously.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
interesting.
it's a big, it's a big deal among us.
Well, I've always heard you guys refer to Tony as the pie guy, I
Or
thought
pie
it was just
night.
because you liked the pie.
I love pie.
Well, that was
I
one of the
didn't
things-
realize it was because of this contest.
Well, that
I
morphed
think they
into
go-
it.
yeah, I
they
think
go
they
hand
go
in
hand in
But I
hand.
do love pie. I mean, and I'm always in search
So
now
if you
for
saw
what
a
I could
pie
eat.
and a
And
naked lady.
Yeah, it'd be the most confusing day of my life. I would have to say, what kind of pie is that naked lady?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
And you have another podcast with pie reference in there too. Right?
Yeah, Jimmy Dunn and I have my good buddy Jimmy Dunn and I have a podcast called Two Boston Guys Whack Up a Pie. And
Whipping up a pie.
That started, we would rate pies that people would give us or would go buy a pie. And then we were told, you can't eat and talk at the same time.
Right.
So the pie went by the wayside and we kept it.
Do you think they have a little bit too much time on their hands?
well,
No, pies are a very
It's our
interesting
business.
subject.
It's my business.
Pies are very interesting. I made a pecan pie this year
Yeah,
for
how'd
the
it go?
first time.
Yeah.
It came out surprisingly well.
Yeah.
Those pecan pies are wicked easy to make.
Yeah.
I usually do
she's
apple.
gonna-
We got for Thanksgiving for my family. They wanted a Boston cream pie, which is not technically a pie in my book.
No, I don't
I
think
agree.
it's like a pudding.
It's a cake with
Yeah,
pudding in the
yeah,
middle,
yeah.
right?
Right.
But it's called a Boston cream pie. So we went to Flour Bakery, and they go, "We're all talk about good salesmanship. We're all out of the small and the medium. You have to get the big one." I
Perfect.
go, how is that possible? I really said to them, how is that possible? You're going to make a big one, just stop halfway through. But so we got this pie, and it weighed about 40 pounds. This Boston cream pie, and by all stretch of imagination, it was great.
No, it was a good night. You had a nice cake for Renee Carter.
And Renee Carter's birthday is always celebrated
that was
around
nice.
the night. And Renee Carter is going to make you are we saying this out loud?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Rick Carter's going to be a granddad.
Yes.
Gonna be a papa.
Papa, that's nice.
fantastic.
That's
old,
right.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Well,
I know.
It's to
Listen,
shoot
it's
for it.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
great.
know. I had
It's-
her
it's-
when I was 21 years old, and
Yeah.
she's very young too.
Yeah.
So. She's my attorney.
That's
Shall
right.
The bus hit me. She's my estate attorney, his
Yeah.
daughter, because he's too old. I figured he's probably
He's going to go before
I
you.
figured
Of course. The way
chances
he
are-
eats.
I mean, he used to be, and then I said to my wife, "I think I need a backup." I said, "Rick Carter could go before." And then where are we? So I said,
Right.
"Did your daughter? How'd she do in school?" I asked all the right questions.
Yeah.
Let me see the diploma.
Right.
But so is she gonna be a mother and an attorney at this?
Yeah, we're not.
Okay.
letting
She's
her
not
take
Well,
gonna-
we'll
time
see.
off.
We'll see.
We're not.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see how
Time
that
off.
goes. Sure.
No.
All
Like,
right.
just because you took a few months off.
Oh my God.
Well, she had like 5 kids, supposedly.
Just so I could get time off. That's the only reason I had kids, so I
know.
could get out of work.
That's right.
That's a little bit.
Little drastic.
Sending $1 a month overseas to a small village doesn't count as
No.
your
Okay,
How
child.
old's your oldest one? No.
28. Got to be
All right.
20,
You-
28.
You could call and say, "Oh, my son has a stomach ache. I can't come in. He's
No,
not-
I couldn't.
He's
You
not going to
couldn't.
work today. I got to be home."
You remember Renee Carter's like a 1-year-old, right?
Oh yeah. You used
Yeah.
to drive her around my neighborhood.
I know.
So
I
she'd
know.
go to sleep.
So
Yeah.
we had a real small house when we first bought, and we're a little bit off. But anyway, so I used to always think, they kid me now because I would say I'd always drive her around to get her
Get
to
to
sleep.
sleep. That's what I did with my son.
Right.
Yeah.
But now my daughter says, you just wanted to get out of the
Yeah,
house.
right. I did that a lot.
I know when Christine would say, "You didn't even take her with you." How is
She
this
sleeps better when I'm
helpful?
not here. I'm the one keeping
It's all
her
for
awake.
her.
Yes.
You know what I used to do is get the Sunday Globe on Saturday night.
Me too.
Right.
Did you?
That's with the new listings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Went before.
Yeah,
The
before
way we
all
see
this
them
stuff.
now,
Oh,
yeah.
that's so funny. That's so funny.
Yeah.
And then we actually do it. So the reason we have Rick Nazzaro back.
Yes.
So we had about 2 or 3 subject materials we're going to talk about.
Buyers and sellers.
Yeah, buyers and sellers. One we're going to talk about kind of not the conventional, either the single person or the husband and couple selling. We have that down
That's
pretty
typical.
good. Yeah. But there are some little nuances out there that they might want to call either you or Carter Law Office or Tony
Early.
B.
Early in the process.
Yeah, right,
So we
Tony.
thought we'd throw some of those out.
We can't go undo it. You can't get unpregnant.
Exactly.
And once you
It's
put the
too
money
late.
down,
That's
you
right.
mostly you won't get it back.
No, right.
So we thought we'd throw that out, and then we'd talk about since it is the Christmas season, if we do get to it, kind of like, all the bad Santas out there. Sometimes, you have the fun shows, the Tim Allens and all that, but sometimes you have the naughty. So we're going to talk about some naughty sellers that don't quite listen to what we say. So,
All right.
we got 8 minutes left to do all of this.
All right,
Beautiful. We got all the time in there.
But luckily, we haven't had Kathy or
Did you ever
Tony
see
V
Bad
not
Santa?
off yet.
Did you ever see Bad
That's what I
Santa?
was talking about. Yeah.
Oh, I love that movie.
So Bill Burr, he's in a new one. What's his?
Bad
Bad Dad?
Bad
or
Dads.
Something like that?
Oh, is that brand new?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it like a knockoff from Bad Moms?
Well,
I feel like it could be.
Maybe.
could be.
Maybe.
Is it out yet?
No.
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 It's the first of the year.
Okay.
That's what they were talking about at
At Fenway.
At Fenway.
Yeah. Yep.
See, and like that, we're down to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Topic.
So go
Tony, I
ahead.
remember you used to do a joke about like, "Oh, something shiny,"
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
topic-
oh, yeah.
yeah.
That's how my brain
And
works.
the topic changes.
It's gone.
No, we'd be at at the radio station,
yeah.
Well, we
and it
just
was
had the
all
big
windows.
windows out there.
And
And
all-
someone would go by and I go, ooh.
No, we'd all be
Tony.
talking.
Yeah,
and
we go, oh,
and
new
Tony's
topic.
standing there, and he goes,
We just completely lose them.
"I'm like, oh, all right, Tony, we were just talking to you."
I wasn't as mature back then.
Right. You've matured.
Yeah.
All right, so
I think where we left off, maybe,
Yes.
is in the event a parent passes away
yes,
or
exactly.
something
exactly.
to that effect.
So here's the deal. So
Yeah.
if the first parent passes away, and this is where we're going to lose Kathy and Tony. I almost don't even want to do it now.
Now go.
All right. So if the first person passes away, you got to make sure their estate isn't over $1 million. A lot of people forget that because then they have to get releases from the state, from inheritance tax releases.
And how does the house
That's
get
part of the.
included? Half the house if there's a spouse?
Yeah, so usually when the first spouse passes away, it's okay, but when the
Right.
second one,
Right.
yeah. So just something to think about.
And it's not a big deal. All they have to do is pay their inheritance tax,
Exactly.
and they'll get a release.
Right. But you might want to start that early in the process.
Right.
But now we got that millionaire's tax. Does that affect it at all?
Nah, it's still if it's over $1 million.
What is the millionaire tax? I've never even thought about it because
Yeah,
I'm
it
not a
doesn't- It
millionaire.
won't affect. Yeah, so people over anyone who's over $1 million,
Makes over $1 million is going to pay
or
a
your
higher
estate's
tax.
over $1 million, you have
Pay
to
a
get a
higher-
release on inheritance
Right.
taxes. So, and then when the second one passes away, we also got to make sure that there's a personal representative appointed. That's the first thing.
Typically through the will
Yeah.
and
The will.
or through the probate court.
And the will has to make sure they have the power to sell. All right, and you got to make sure the consent.
And that has to be stipulated specifically in
In the will.
will.
yeah.
Yes. Can I tell you a trick that old estate attorneys
Please
used to
do.
do?
I'm riveted.
This is very interesting.
You're riveted,
I'm
so am I.
riveted.
No,
Yeah.
this is interesting there because estate attorneys in the past
Yeah.
used to not put that clause in there
Really?
Why?
because then you'd have to go back to them.
To them, so
for
they would have to
additional
do
work.
it. Ah.
But most of those attorneys no longer practice.
Right.
They're in
right.
jail,
It's just-
or where are they?
Now, they're down in Florida still in Adderall for little kids.
They're in the urn.
In the urn.
So that's the other. And the other thing we got to worry about: make sure it consents. I mean, the heirs all consent. If
Right.
you have one of them battling,
So, Rick, let me
Yeah,
ask you then.
yeah.
So many times in that situation, I might get the call before you
yep,
to sell.
Yep.
And I'll do my usual. We got to
Yeah.
clean out the house, do
yeah,
this.
yeah.
But I should recommend that.
Yes.
Because many times they think, oh yeah, the house is. It's my mother left it to me. They may
Right.
not really know.
It might have been left to them in the will, but the will has to. The probate court has to.
Has to say
agree.
it's
Right.
okay to sell the
Exactly,
house. You just can't go
exactly.
around selling people's houses.
Right.
and they
Right,
may not be aware of this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're laymen. They don't
So-
know.
Exactly.
So should they?
And it's an easy fix.
How do you find that out?
Easy. They just have to call us up. We see if it's probated. So if it's probated, it'll have all that stuff in there.
So you look at it from a
exactly. That's
From
what
a
we get.
legal
A
standpoint.
legal
And then
standpoint.
we get Renee
Right.
Carter involved. That's how we do it.
Okay.
Right. So that's a great point.
That's job
So,
one.
Job
And then
one.
the other thing that I was just thinking of is like, the estate of so and so is selling the house, but who's legally can legally sign it if there's no personal rep? Like, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what we ran into.
Well, right. So my point is that
You have to have someone appointed to say you can sell your house. Just
Right,
like Tony said,
right.
you just can't sell out.
Yeah, 'cause
in New Hampshire, you might be able to.
The
but-
example we talked about last week
Yeah.
is they thought they could sell
Yeah.
it, and it was
just
when
because it was in the will.
But if you weren't involved and you guys went along your merry way, Mary White would have signed the purchase and sale agreement, and then I'm thinking it's not a valid
It's not valid,
contract,
right.
Correct.
because she wasn't,
wasn't
authorized to
authorized
so
to sell,
so
yeah.
that could cause other problems.
Right.
Now, let me ask you this, and this is a little off topic, but sort of similar. If you sell a house and it's in trust, that's
Yep.
a different thing because
Exactly.
that's taken care of. The
Right.
trust takes
Exactly.
care of everything.
The truck
Exactly.
But
trust
now, say you had
dictates.
4 siblings or
Yep.
3 siblings,
Yep.
and you sold the house and it wasn't in trust.
Yep.
Does that money get divvied up between the 3 of them before it's taxed, or is it the lump sum?
It's going to be the lump sum. So
And
what
then
happens
divvied
is,
up.
Yep. So there's going to be X amount of dollars it's sold.
So if a house sells for over $1 million, so
Yep.
it's subject to this millionaire's tax,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
right? You take the taxes out of that first and then divvy it up.
Yep.
So you can't split that up 3 ways and go, now we all didn't make $1 million.
Correct.
Why
Right.
not?
Because when you do the
That would
1099s.
be fraud.
Oh, okay. All right.
So when you do the 1099, because Kathy Holtshouser does all those, so it's going to be based on what the price is
The
sold
gross
for.
sale price,
Not what you
not
guys
net.
out.
Not what you net.
Right,
I see.
exactly.
I don't like it.
But when you go to the
I don't
accountant,
either.
Yeah.
when you go to the accountant, we should
Right.
qualify by saying this. Then they say, all right, there's certain deductions.
Like you paid a mortgage, so
I
then
see.
it
You paid
knocks
state
it down.
tax,
You
you
paid a
paid
broker
commission.
fee, yeah.
Right.
Right. So that's when you go to the brokers, right?
This shit sounds like you need a lawyer.
That's right.
That's what I
right,
would
that's
say,
right.
and I would.
You better call
Carter
Saul.
Law. I'd call Carter Law. That's who I'd call. They know their stuff.
Another situation, divorce situation.
Oh,
So it's usually pretty easy when just 2 of them are getting divorced. They still own the property. Then they just have to deed off, and they have to go with the separation agreement. What the tricky one is when someone has got divorced like 3 or 4 years ago and forget in the separation agreement, oh, I'm supposed to pay my ex-husband off because it looks like she can just sell the property.
But it
So
still has
they-
that separation
they
agreement
get a
on
divorce.
record.
The wife stays in the house,
Right,
Because the husband's a good guy,
right.
and then she gets to sell the house,
Right.
but has to give him the
Exactly,
proceeds. But
exactly.
she forgets conveniently.
Right.
But I actually
I
am in
understand
the-
why they're divorced.
I'm in the middle of one now that
Yeah.
the husband's been in touch with me several times over a year that he wants to list. He's out of the house. The wife, long story short, the judge said it's to go on the market.
Yeah.
45 days ago, yesterday, in fact, we talked again. The judge said this house has to be on the market within the next 45 days.
Yep.
She has not called to have me come to take pictures, so he called me yesterday to say they were trying to get that decision reversed or something, and the judge stuck with it. He said it's got to be on. So what will happen, like if the wife in this situation?
She's in contempt of court, and it's none of your business right now.
No, it's not.
Until
she's in the house. She might not open the door. She can.
right.
We've seen this probably once where the court has to come in.
And demand.
Right. Say, listen.
So that
What can make you demand selling a house?
No,
the
this
court
was
will say it.
this was a short sale.
Oh, short sale.
But it doesn't matter. It was a
Right.
sale.
Right.
And she had
She
to
was
come
refusing.
she had to come to the closing to sign the deed.
And she won't do
And
it.
she refused. And so he went back to the judge, the district judge that did their separation or the divorce, and he said, I have it all lined up. We're supposed to close tomorrow. He said, if your ex-wife doesn't sign that deed by end of day tomorrow, she's going to jail.
She's going to jail.
Yep.
That easy.
Wow.
Yep.
That easy to get someone put in jail.
Yeah. Because it's I don't know what they.
Now you got me thinking.
How did
Yeah.
that end up? Did she? I mean,
she ended up signing
signed,
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
and she couldn't go back and say I was coerced. I mean,
No, because then that would be on the notary public that says, are you here with your,
Your own
your
free will.
free act and deed, and
We have had that once too, where
Right.
we had the husband and wife come to the closing, and we asked them. It was someone else in the office. The other attorney said, because we always have to ask, is it your free act and deed?
Right.
Husband says, yep, my free act and deed, and then the wife says, nope, he's forcing me to do it.
So what'd you
stop
do?
there.
So what do you do?
Can't do the closing.
You stop.
Can't
Oh.
notarize it.
another good idea.
That's fantastic.
Let's go over it again.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No.
No.
It's
No,
not my
I
free
did.
act.
I'm being coerced.
Right. I don't want to say who.
This one.
I'm being forced by the judge.
The divorces are the
So did
worst.
that then have to go through the whole court? and
No, a
everything?
week later she came to her senses.
When her car was lit on
Oh, that was
fire in
another
the
one.
driveway.
What?
Oh, we had this one where
Ooh, that's
sometimes the
suspicious.
divorces we
They
put
don't
them
go
in,
as
we put them
cleanly
in-
as you hope.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So
And
we
they
put them
both had attorneys, and they were both
Oh, yeah.
equally as.
Oh yeah,
Contentious.
Oh, it was terrible.
So we
Great work.
we try to put them in separate rooms. Sometimes I have to have them on separate buildings. I used to have that.
I had that one.
Yeah, we had
in
them
New
in separate
Hampshire.
buildings.
Yep.
And then sometimes I have them on separate days. So this one I was doing it down the registry of deeds. So the wife came in, the husband came in the day before I signed everything. And then the wife came in the next day. I met them both at the registry. And then we were going to finish everything up. And she goes out to her car. It was all finished. And she comes running back in. My husband just keyed my whole car and wrecked the car.
Can you imagine?
And not the brightest criminal. I always say this.
Right outside the registry of deeds.
Right outside the registry and left
Where there's cameras everywhere.
cameras everywhere, and he left a note saying, "You have ruined my life." And he
And
went
I'm
on
going to kill you.
on and on. I said, "Oh boy!" The police had to come and everything.
We
yeah.
need to start a How to Be a Criminal podcast.
Right.
I think we've already done that.
Yeah.
Well,
How
Rick,
to get away with it.
Did
Oh,
you
yeah.
just say I'm not that kind of attorney? I'm going to go record this.
Call me if everything works out with you guys.
Oh my God, I'll never forget that close. And I finally
Yeah.
said to both divorce attorneys, I go, you know what? We're just the closing attorney. These are the numbers. You guys come back and
Right.
let me know
When you-
how you
yeah,
want
when
to
you wanna
split
figure
it.
it out.
I'm not taking another phone call. It was like 50 phone calls
You
later.
tell him. I love that. You tell him for me. No,
Well,
you
know what it
tell him.
is? Every attorney in a divorce situation, they take the personality of the person they're representing,
Right.
And they hate everyone. You know what I mean? I always try to. I have my own little tactics with divorce situations there, but I always try to, kind of isolate it.
Well, I think we all mimic our buyers sometimes if they're like straightforward and
Right, oh,
will
definitely.
do and
Right.
thank you and da. It's all business. You need to bring a check for this
Right.
amount of money and your driver's license. We'll see you at 9:00 on Friday in our running office. End of story. But
Right.
then you have
You
people
do.
that
You have to be a chameleon with whoever you work.
yeah,
Right.
and if you need somebody that
Match their personality.
yeah,
Exactly.
that needs their hand held and
You know,
Exactly.
one thing that came out of COVID that I think seems to. Remember, we all used to close. There'd be
Oh, we were just
30
talking about
yeah,
that.
I love, because sometimes the relationship between the buyer and the seller is not that great. If,
Yep.
you know, the walkthrough, maybe there's still leaves in the
Yep.
yard or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep. They don't see each
I
other
haven't
anymore.
been to a closing in 2 years.
Oh, over 2 years.
Because the seller goes the night before or whatever, or the attorney signs everything on their behalf.
Yeah, it's great.
The buyer, look, see you, good luck.
Yeah.
You know,
No, it's the
But
best. thing.
sometimes the
It's
seller
beautiful.
starts talking to the buyer about representations. You don't want the
Yes,
buyer and the
it's
seller
totally
because
better
if the
not
seller
being together.
might be talking out of school or say something that might
Yep.
hurt the
Well, I
transaction.
had one where before COVID, and this is why I'll never have another seller there again. We're almost running out of time. But
We are.
The wife, the mother comes in, and the son comes in. It's like 10 people in the closing. Now, the old days, everyone would be in the closing table. And we get through the whole closing, and the son at the very end, he's like in his 30s or 40s, says to everyone, says, you know what? My mom gave me the first option at this property, and I said no, because I didn't like the following things.
Oh,
and then
no.
he rattled off 4 or 5. I don't like the neighbors. I don't like there's a fence out there.
What?
Oh, it was horrible.
Why would he do that?
Oh,
He
that's-
just wasn't thinking.
that's-
He goes, there's a fence out there. I'm not sure if it's on our property or if it's on the neighbor's
Oh,
property.
my
It was
God.
Like what you hear about. I said, oh,
And that's what you're
okay.
always afraid
That's
of.
the thing, you
It was
know,
unbelievable.
because
I
some
go, oh,
people just
all right, well,
Shut your
I'm glad-
mouth.
Yeah.
Just shut your mouth.
Everybody take a piece of duct tape.
Tony,
As
shut
you
your
enter.
pie hole.
I
Shut
was
your
gonna say that.
mouth.
That's right.
This is why, you know, when the globe heats up and everything goes to shit and we're back living in caves, life is going to be so much simpler.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm so happy for that day.
I cannot
I
wait.
can't wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Cannot
we gotta
wait.
go. We're
gotta
gonna go.
And if you
Rick
don't
is
want
there.
Thanks a lot, guys.
and if you want your cave sold, you call Rick Carter.
781
944-9222.
Rick Nazzaro, thanks again.
And
for
I'll be
joining us.
using
My
the tablet. I'll be using the tablet.
You'll
Sign
be-
here.
You'll
That's
be
right.
using your abacus to do the
Yeah.
numbers at the end there. Thanks for joining us here at the Real Estate House Party. Thanks, Rick Nazzaro, Colonial Manor Realty.
Thanks,
My
Rick.
Kathy Holtshouser,
Great
paralegal
show.
extraordinaire. Tony V, always
see
the
you.
best.
Thanks, Tony.
Stayed awake the whole time.
I know.
while we
I
talked
almost
real
nodded
estate.
off once or twice.
Very impressive. Very impressive. That's
Only
right.
kidding. I like the subject.
See you next week.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.